Welcome everyone. Today we have a very special build for Wolcen. This one is a very strong support, also damage dealer, also debuffer. So the initial idea is I'm going to build a support, and I had discussions with other friends. You know, they like to play defensively, they like to help friends, they want to provide auras and a lot of things. So with that in mind, I decided to build a support character. But as I build support characters, I was getting concerned we won't do enough damage. There could be times we don't have friends to play with us. So I decided to curve into more damage. And after, with the help of some nice friends, you know, Modi and Current Techniques, so with the help of unlocking my 5th skill, I think that really helped. So this support now has a source of damage and also really good utility. So before I do anything, let me show you the skills. Then we'll get into some fights. After that, I'll show you everything with the perk of choice and also with items of choice. So firstly, we do a scream, and this gives us a lot of things. And if you look closely, this actually well with the debuff to go. Our attack speed goes up, the critical rate goes up, so attack speed went up by 50%. Critical rate went up by a bit, and also if you look at my block rate, so 35% now, it goes up to 74%. And this is not all. So the next spell I'm going to cast, look at my critical rate. This gives us at least 15% more critical chance. And also, if you look at the spell I'm casting, so I have the rage, look how fast I run. This is for everyone on the team. Pretty cool, right? Oh, super fast speed. And I don't have any special like speed things other than like my boots. I did roll the boots into really high speed, just luckily 33%, but sometimes you get gears on attack, on movement speed as well. So it's really fun. Yeah, like super movement speed. And that's not all. I'm sure we've seen this one. So this is the support skill that debuff enemies, that drags, disable them, and does pretty decent damage. Next one is Juggernaut. Here, Juggernaut is not used as a source of damage. It can be damage, and because my block rate is high, increased absorption is not bad. The perk here is can be a cast on ourselves and target ally. Because of that, we can protect allies. And this is just an ongoing spell. It has 11-second cooldown, 10-second duration. So that means we can cast it all the time. And we always have Juggernaut with us. After that, the next one is the Hawk of Dawn. This is a defensive spell that gives us regen and it protects us. But with the perks we have, what it's going to do is it's going to debuff enemies at 26%, and this is always going to be on because I have enough lower CD to have it on all the time. And with movement speed, with everything, I'm just going to be running like this. And yeah, the rage is okay. We have plenty of rage. We're actually short on the willpower. And it just happens if we don't kind of finish enemies off with those set of support skills. Yeah, we can finish enemies off with those. We can actually zap them. We can zap them with this. And you've seen my debuff Curse Mage before. Annihilation is really strong because it's half occult damage, and this can be built further if you curse enemies. So our debuff rate is not very high, 26%. We can go higher, but I'm actually favoring this support with more critical rate. So support hits up to 60% critical rate. HP is pretty decent with 81k and 10k shield. That's not all. So when I scream and when I have everything, when I stand still, this is my number. Really high aura resistance, really high block rate, and I have so many tanking spells. So that's it. Let's go into fights. Let's see how we manage. So the idea of a support is you're gonna give the team buffs, and you're gonna cast shields, and you can do things. Here, I don't even have to do anything. They just melt in front of me because it turns out Hawk of Dawn is actually really strong. Oh, it's a little beetle. Come back, beetle. Come back. Okay. I haven't tried beetle fights before though. So he can't be stunned, so I'm gonna zap him. Damn, beetle fights are hard. Come on, beetle. Don't be like this. Supposed to be our debut. I don't really need to do it. I'm just saying for testing. So we're really hard to kill, by the way. We're super tanky. I think beetle was the only thing that kind of gets away from us. Let's run fast. Let's move around. Let's look for a boss unit, and I'll show you guys how strong this support is. So as usual, we just do our thing. And most units don't survive. If they survive, we just zap them to death. The key is how fast you can move around the map. And when you want, you can get lots of willpower with the willpower potion. And then this is a half-meal monster. he gets zapped pretty quickly. If I debuff him more, he will be dying much quicker. So keep in mind, you can cast all your spells to protect allies as well. So really good damage and really good for the allies, because they move fast with you. I did not get to try with a friend though, because I would have to try to connect with an offline account, which is not possible. It's more for online accounts. Okay, 2.7 million HP, perfect. Let's give it a try. Look at this boss getting melted. Let me get my rotation. And that was 2.7 million HP. And the thing is, we're so tanky and so durable. And I forgot to mention to you guys, if you look here, if I scream right, I have attack and life leech. If I scream, I have 17% leech. So this is all made possible with a special unique. Yes, there is a unique here that is going to be useful. Oh, I'm not even hitting him. He just dies to my awesome auras. Yeah, we do very fast ticks, and those ticks are no joke. Yeah, once you stack all the debuffs, they die also really fast. Let's fight some more. With enough cooldown reduction, you can do a lot. You're always invisible, and you pretty much has all the good things of a support and also damage dealer. And yeah, I'm super tanky. Okay, I'm just gonna stand here. And they are dead. They didn't break my first set of shield. I have Juggernaut, I have the spell power shield, I have HP, I have lifesteal, and if I stand still, I get defenses. So let's go back. I'll show you guys the whole talent tree and all the perks with this. So yes, OX, I turned Bohawk into a damage aura instead of healing, that's right. So it heals as well, but I think I didn't pick a lot of the healing perks. I just picked the area of effect deals damage, and this is only 1000 damage, but it's multiplied further onto 15k a second, and it goes further. Hey there, York. Juggernaut, yes, the Juggernaut is a fun one, just for protective reasons. Now, if I didn't have the 5th skill unlocked, I wouldn't have Juggernaut. I have everything else, but without Juggernaut. I tried the debuff with the Rogue. I was initially thinking, hey, I can get this really good debuff. It's the Mark of Impurity. Then I realized I don't need it, because I debuff enough, and might as well have something that protects us and allies a little further than just another debuff I don't really use until I see a big mob. So, in terms of skill points choice, because I managed to get a pretty lucky weapon that has occult stats ailment chances, I was able to not go too high on wisdom and still have 26% of debuff chance. Now, if I don't have this weapon, my debuff chance is at 17%. I believe 25% is good, and you can go further, but that will lower your pretty much overall stats for output. So if you want to go full support, just go toughness and wisdom. If you want to go as a support that does damage, I think about 300 wisdom and 26% ailment chance is okay. It's just a random item from the shop, nothing special. I managed to roll 2 sockets for spell power, and the last socket is for force power. I don't even know why I did that. So only 2 usable sockets here. The force damage is not very useful. Oh, I had an attack skill before, that's why I had the force damage here. So we went for about 1-1-2 initially, so pretty much 1 point wisdom, 1 point toughness, and 2 points ferocity. This is because we'll be critting and hitting a lot with the critical hit damage and chances. With that, the stats are really high, and with the bulk off done, I cast it, I get even higher stats.
I can't do that.
And they even get a lot of other things. Dodge rate, actually we don't get any dodge rate, it doesn't show here, but I get so many stats when I press those, all because of this special item. You just need 1 of them. I just duplicate 2 of them with the copy paste with offline, but I tried with 1 of them, it's still very effective. So let me show you stats with 1. You'll be looking at 62% block rate, and you'll be looking at, let me show you the movement speed with this one. Pretty decent, right? And pretty much have this on all the time. Sorry. What this item does is it gives your buffs 78% more effectiveness. And if you have both of them if you're fortunate enough on online accounts or offline accounts, you can definitely have it. You have more healing powers, you have more effectiveness with the debuff. which is really powerful. Now that we look at the only piece of armor that's really important, you don't really need additional movement speed on the boots because you get boosted additional movement speed anyways. I just happen to want to run a little faster. This doesn't provide any useful stats actually. So the weapon. Ideally, you want the occult stats ailment chance score. And this dagger usually gives a lot, at least 200%. And this saves you so many points on wisdom, and you can put it on toughness or ferocity. That also increases your damage output as well. In terms of the skill choices, let's have a look. So, after testing the shout here, the Salvin Shout, I realized the all resistance score buff is bugged out. It's actually not providing me the buff, or maybe it's giving my friend the buff, not me. So this is actually not good. I perked it out and I wasn't getting high resistance. So after that, I decided to go with block chances. That gets multiplied like 3 times because we have the unique bracer or the unique gloves. And with that, we increase buff duration, increase critical chance, which gives a lot of that as well. We have 17% global reach with 7%, and increased effectiveness. This also multiplies. We also get lots of movement speed. Not bad. Followed by that, the Dusk Shroud. I deliberately had this perk out for the allies. If you're not here to support allies, you can perk this anywhere else. 3 perk can go somewhere else. It can be, give you force shield regeneration. It can be here to give you stamina regen, to give another curse, or you can go, drop in different allies. So this is optional. So you can definitely perk this out for something else. This is for the support build. So Shadow increase dodge chance, increase the shadow damage we deal, which we do occult damage. We get movement speed, lots of that, minus cooldown, increased duration. So you're looking at a 3.1 second and a 3 second. So this is on all the time, like this. It's like super speed. Next up, Anomaly is pretty straightforward. You go for area effect, the biggest factor is increased duration. You get the pull multiple units, and also you get the able to cast twice. That's the biggest factor. Increase alignment damage and also increase element chances are not that big. And because of that, so you just get to cast almost as often as you can. 6.7 cooldown and 6 second duration. Really good. With Juggernaut, because we have lots of cooldown reduction on our gears, and the skill cooldown is pretty much close to the skill reaction. And with that, I did not perk a lot of the damage kind of Juggernaut. It's more for threat gaining for myself. If I put it on myself, I can have a knockback, I can have reduced damage from projectiles, can be cast on allies. That's a support perk. If you just playing by yourself, perk it to something else. Reduction to cooldown, you get the shield absorption and more absorption. You can go for the one that stuns as well if you're not going for this perk, and this works as well. So this makes us super defensive already, but with this one, this is when the AoE damage comes in, and also you'll be constantly debuff enemies around you. So you have the secret ground that deals damage, which is important because if you don't do damage, you don't debuff. After that, we increase the chance of inflicting ailments on enemies, and that means we didn't need that much high ailments for everything else. And after that, we give resistance, which goes much higher. There's a healing aura that follows us, so basically when we move, it goes with us. Increased reaction and increased reaction. This gives us 8.3 seconds and 10 second reaction, so you can always move. You literally just have this on all the time. We don't move very fast without the movement spells. And this is when it's fine. This is when it gets interesting. And just keep moving. And lastly, because any support, you still want to make sure you have a source of damage, and this is for the big boss, you'll be going for the willpower deduction, which is okay. Majority, I can go for person of enemies just so I can hit lots of them. Critical chance is good, and we do have element damage, critical damage, and increase over time, which is very good. Those few, the biggest ones will be damage increase over time. The willpower reduction is very good, and the critical chance, critical damage. Everything else you can mix around with it. So if you prefer my almonds, you can go with poison, which I like the stasis and also curse, I think. You can go for more willpower deduction. That can definitely work. And other than that, increased damage, and that won't do that much. I'll show you. So increased damage give us what? Give us like 60 average more damage. That's not that great. I think this willpower deduction perk was too expensive. It cost 3. That's one of the reasons I didn't take it. And maybe it's okay because it seems to reduce the willpower per second plus 5. This is good. I'm not sure. Did it make a Oh, fires additional ping. Oh, interesting. I haven't tried that before. I'll look into that, but right now we just fire one ping. Now, one thing with this build you might have noticed is I don't have a way to stop rage from regenerating. I'm calling too often, and I'm actually getting too much rage. And also my spells also give me a lot of rage because I cast them as, you know, willpower spells. So what I do is I just pop the potion. One potion with a fast transfer time gives you everything, all you needed for Zep. Now, items. Actually, let's go into the perks. We go back to the items for the final touch. Coming into the Gates of Fate for our support build, it gets a little interesting. There are 3 reduction to cooldown CDs, so if you don't find it on your gears, you can still perk all of them. It only takes 2 perks to get some, and it's not terribly hard to perk them. Because I had enough cooldown, I actually didn't perk 2 of them, but you can definitely go for 2 or 3. Getting right into it, as a good support, you want to do damage. Now I'm joking. As a good support, you want to debuff enemies. So your team and yourself actually is getting more out of it, so you definitely want the double element. And because you'll be debuffing enemies more, I actually went for the maximum element stacks, so I'm looking at 30 stacks eventually onto enemies with the debuffs. And this reduces their movement speed, reduces their damage, increase the damage they take. Because I'll be killing enemies that have lots of debuffs, I might as well get the damage increase, and this stacks up. And depending on different debuffs, I get different, you know, damage increase as well. Going here, this allows us, the power of the first man allows us to debuff multiple times with a 100% chance. Followed by that, initially I didn't want to take the Branded Burst because I'm actually really tanky, but I thought, you know, I had so much point, I might as well. But if you're not having too many points on this support build, don't worry about this side. This is definitely the last final piece. What you really want is time which cannot heal, and also the Dire Structure. This makes you super tanky and resilient to damage from one-shotting. That gives you time to heal and cast more supportive spells. You also want the double max element stacks. That gives you 230. We know time which cannot heal gives you more damage, and because I'll be giving the team status as well, might as well do more damage ourselves. It's really nice curving because this also gives us added damage, which is the major source of the damage for this build. Coming over here, you do not have to come for the critical side unless you're planning to do damage support. And what I recommend, I path towards this side just because I started here. So I didn't want to go down here because those perks are not that great for force shield and, you know, force shield and element resistance. So I perked further while taking the damage side. So if you just here for the support, come over here. And you don't need the willpower yet. Come over here for the block with anything. Because I'll be getting so much block rate on my shout with my whole team, I might as well have the block to everything. And all of a sudden it's as if I have a really good shield with like 60% block rate or even 80-70%. So you do want to get a block. You don't have to perk all those because those are not great. I mean, they're here for the late game. More HP and more resistance. That multiplies to what we have already. This is optional once you have enough block. Once you have over 50 or 60 block, you can go for this, and this gives you and your allies more resistance and make them even tankier. Because we block so often, we might as well get a debuff with the reduced enemies attack, so we have a weakness stack. And we'll be stacking 3 weakness each time we block. And when we have additional block, that's optional as well. Coming over here, this is a majority the factor why we're so tanky as well. So I'll be going for the maximum HP, resistance, block efficiency, and resistance more. I'll be taking the Salvatore Ankle for the heavy armor because I want to stack as much resistance as I can. I don't need a bruiser armor for my HP because I just naturally tanky with lots of HP perks. With those two, I'll be rolling for heavy armor with highest resistance I can find. And I'll show you my armor after. They don't have that much resistance. So my helmet has 213, which is actually really lucky with resistance. Also really lucky on the cooldown reduction of 30%. I was rolling for that for a while. And after that, my online account has higher resistance than this. This is only 482. And the good thing is it has a cooldown reduction. So 3 pieces of the gear have a really clutch cooldown reduction, which makes sure we can cast spells all the time. The factors of those 2 armors I'll show you. So this is with the passive perk of course. If I take those 2 down, I'm looking at 1200 and 1600 resistance. But if I have those 2, all of a sudden boom, 6000, 5000. And this is all because of this passive and this passive. we'll be standing still because, well, we're just naturally tanky and we don't have to run around too much when we're fighting big monsters. So this gives us increased damage when we stand still, and followed by that we get increased resistance. Currently it is broken with increased health regen. You get like over 100,000 health regen, and that's getting nerfed, but that's okay. I'm not here for the health regen, I'm here for the defensive capacities. If you look at the health regen, yes, it's over 100k health per second. I don't think anything kills me, right? But yeah, I'm not here for the health regen again, it's just for the resistance. So, next part. As a good support, you want to do damage. And the best way to do damage is with Occult Affliction. Because I'll be cursing enemies, and for each curse I apply to enemies, I do 7% more damage. That's 210% more damage, and this also buffs our occult damage, which is ether damage, shadow damage, and the secret damage. And that's how we do. So this is our main source of damage, which is going to be ether, shadow, and this is our second source of damage, which is secret, ether, and shadow. How perfect is that, right? Now, at this rate, you might be looking at, about level 70 or 60-ish, and then this is when you look for utility. You can get more of the rage and willpower just because, well, this is really handy to have 400 more to play around with. Other times you run a little low with spells. And this allows you to have almost infinite cast. And you can just fix around which one do you need most and go for it. After that, this is when you can consider the critical hit chances. It's optional, you can go for more damage or you can go for the utility. With more damage, you just go with the 60% critical hit chances and you go for the 100% critical hit damage. And this will boost your damage by a lot. Followed by that, if I still have more points, I can go for the... This point is a must-have, but I can go for dodge chances, movement speed, I can go for resistance and maximum HP, and this makes me even tankier. Most of the time, I am losing the attendance points because I don't move much, and this is not a must-have. It is optional to get other perks that gives you more HP and more tankiness, which is okay, but I think this is absolutely fine. It avoids for me ever getting one-shotted. Lastly, I have tried multiple times to find out where did my critical hit damage went. So do not take Retaliator if you have high critical hit chances, but take it if you're not going for crits at all, because this reduces your critical hit chances by 50%. This is not a rate, this is halving it, and this is massive. So I perked myself out. I was looking at, so I'm going to cast my spells. Yeah, I was looking at 66% critical hit chances. This halved to 33. I was really shocked. I didn't know why. So don't take that if you're here for damage support. Lastly, what's not said often is that Dusk Shot does not show anywhere on it that this actually increases your critical hit chance, but this actually increases your critical chance the most. So let's have a look. I'm looking at 49%, I press it. I usually have to scream. So 54 now, I press it, I get 12% more critical chance, which is really good. Usually with skill rotations, you have to start the shot so you have enough rage to go with Dusk Shot, and after that, you should always have the bulk of Dome on, because this is your debuff, damage, and healing, and also more resistance. And after that, Juggernaut is optional. If you don't have the 5th skill, don't have to use it. The Lightning and the Anomaly are the major source of damage for AoE and also focus fire, and lots of debuff. One thing about the support build is that you only need one of this unique gauntlet to make yourself really strong. And after that, you'll be perking your body with lots of HP and block chances, because you'll be debuffing enemies, and you go for more block chance. And here I went for critical hit chance score, because, well, just a support wants to have a damage stream, right? So you can definitely go less of the critical chance. It's good to have at least a few of the sockets to go with the transfer time reduction, because you'll be transferring a lot of them back and back. After that, it's crucial to have at least 20 or 15% cooldown reduction on the helmet, on the chest, and also on the legging, because this gives you enough cooldown to close to almost casting all your spells without any cooldown, kind of overlapping. And if you don't get enough cooldowns, definitely go for some of those perks, the 10%, they'll help. They take 2 points each, and they will help a little bit. And this is pretty fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I really had some fun running it. And if my friend want to play this one, if I have this unique piece, I'll definitely play with it. Now if you don't have any of the unique pieces, you can still use it, but its its wonderfulness does get reduced a little bit. So let me show you. even without that, I do run a little bit fast, but not as fast as before. And notice those two doesn't affect the cooldown reduction. So it's not that I'm losing a lot, I still gain a lot of good numbers, so my block rate still goes to 50%, and my critical rate still goes to 57%. So everything else, you know, my resistance still goes up by a lot. So it's not that it's a must-have, it's not bad, but it's like an icing on the cake. So if you want a good support, this is absolutely fine, without any of the braces. Are they braces? They're braces, right? So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is a really fun little support build. It's not the most for blinking or the most for like a lot of things, but it's a fun one because it does great damage, it's super tanky, and it can potentially just face stand everything, taunt for your friend, protect them, give them movement speed, and also debuff enemies and kill them himself. So hopefully enjoy this guy, guys. Let me know what you think on the comments on YouTube. Leave a like and subscribe on YouTube if you can, that'll help the channel so much. And also, if you're free, feel free to say hi on Twitch, and that will motivate me to make more builds as well. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys on YouTube next time.